Good evening, and thank you for joining us once again on the program, The Nigerian Governors Live from Abuja, transmitting from Abuja. My name is Aon Duna Inga, your host on the program. We're all caught up in the political upheaval going on in the country. It appears hundreds and hundreds of millions of naira have exchanged hands so far, while political aspirants, those particularly running who intend to run for the office of the president, are purchasing forms with the All Progressives Congress. But of course, let's not take away our attention from the People's Democratic Party as well, because their forms also the cost of their forms also run into millions and millions of naira. Now, what does all of this portend for our polity moving forward? I mean, does it also strengthen the fact that, our politics is essentially all about money? Because you recall that this has often been the accusation. Now, you recall that a couple of years ago, President Muhammadu Buhari signed a not too young to run bill into law. Now, one would have expected that perhaps the political scene, as far as money is concerned, will be a little bit easy for young people to be able to contest, particularly when it comes to the purchasing of forms of expression and all of that. But that does not necessarily seem to be the case. But then we're gradually marching towards the elections next year. And we're going to see, hopefully by this time next year, we're going to be gearing up to an exchange of baton. That's from one administration to another. But in the midst of all of this, a lot will definitely be going on. Now, one of those we want to consider, or a major factor we want to consider in all of this and this journey, is what part do the Nigerian youth or youths have to play in all of this? What part do they have to play? And that is why we're going to be looking at the topic, the 2023 elections, Nigerian youths in the scheme of things. Yes, we're going to be focusing our attention on the Nigerian youth today to see where exactly they place or what role they will be playing as far as the 2023 general elections is concerned. At the federal level and even at the subnational, we'll be taking a critical look at that. We'll go on the break. My guest is already here in the studio, and when we come back, we'll meet the guest, and then we'll go right into the conversation. Stay with us.
Nigerian governors.
Welcome back. My guest on the program today is the president of the Nigerian Youth Congress, and he goes by the name Blessing Akinlosotu. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's a pleasure having you on the program today. Last week, a couple of weeks ago, I think I discussed something in line of a particular segment of society, and I felt it was only going to be right for us to also look at young people. Last week, we were able to extensively talk about labor, being that it was May Day, the first day of May, and all of that. And I thought it was better, let us look at the role youth were playing in the grand scheme of things as far as the polity is concerned. Now, one of the things that would readily come to mind is there have been a lot of reactions as far as the 2023 elections is concerned. The amount of huge sums of money that have gone into purchasing forms of expression of interest forms and all of that. In fact, from the very moment Nigerians heard the amount of money the ruling party particularly had, put up their forms for sale, and then that of the People's Democratic Party as well. Now, that generated a lot of reactions across Nigeria. But as the leader of the Nigerian Youth Congress, what is your thoughts? What is your sustained thoughts about all of this that is happening at the moment?
Thank you very much. I think it is not something we bargain for. To be honest with you, we met something we least expected. Selling a form to the tune of 100 million naira, 50 million for governorship, 20 million for Senate, and 10 million for House of Rep. Yes, there is not too young to run bill, which was passed by Mr. President. I was expecting that form purchase or sales by these two major political parties should be strictly free for the younger generation. Because if you look at the women, they will tell you that free form for the women. So what distinguishes women from youths? It is even the youth that need this form free of charge more than the women. Because some of these women are working, they have husbands that can foot their bills and all the rest. But majority of the youth today, they are jobless. Yes, they have ideas, they have what they can offer to this country. But coming to stop them from the point of starting is to tell you that the leadership we have today, they are not even ready for the younger generation to be part of the system.
But how realistic is it when you expect that a young person, in your words, a young person who perhaps is just starting off perhaps a career, is not so established as the case may be, has an ambition to run for office? Now, there's nothing wrong running for any political office. Granted that perhaps it's at the local government level, council, and all of that, and perhaps maybe state house of assembly. Is it realistic having a young person who has the ambition to want to be governor and then president as well? Is it realistic? Because sometimes we even expect those running for these offices to be technocrats, well established in whatever profession or perhaps in public service as the case may be. So is it realistic in the first instance?
It's realistic because there is nothing like technocrats. There's no criteria that qualifies you to be governor. As far as you are educationally equipped, you are knowledgeable, you have visions, you have passion for your people. This is about people. It's not about, you are not setting in to come and take a job for becoming an engineer, or you want to be tested as ICT expert and all the rest. This is governance. This is people. If you know you can offer something, you talk about grassroots. Yes. Why can the young people be a councillor, be a chairman of a local government? What distinguish? What now stop them from becoming a governor? Majority of the people that are governors today, they have lesser knowledge comparable to the young chap we have in Nigeria. You will agree with me that Nigeria has the best brain heifer. Go to different field today. We are doing excellently well. If you go to ICT, you will see that Nigeria has the best brain. If you go to sporting industry, if you go to entertainment industry, just name it. Even outside this country, some of the people that have struggled to make third class, they are becoming the first top-notch all over the world, Western world, Russia, and others. So what now qualifies a 40, 50-year-old person to become a governor that now stops a 30-year-old person who is a graduate? Remember, after you had a first degree and you understand the template of how things works, you don't need to have anything. Coupled with the fact that if you go to the National Assembly here, majority of the older generation, they don't even know what National Assembly is for. Majority of them are not even graduates. Are you now telling me because they are old, they have age, so that qualifies them more better than the younger generation? So that is not the reality. The reality is, what can you offer? The fact remains that younger generation are offering a lot, that they don't have job. It is the system that caused them to be jobless. Nobody wants to be jobless. It is a system that has been created for a longer period, a decay in the system that led to be joblessness. There is nobody who is creating job in this country. No industry is functioning. The little industry we have has become moribund. Some of them are not working again. Who stole the money? Is it the younger generation that you are now crucifying? Are they the one that destroyed the country?
Well, if you put it that way, I'm not the one crucifying
These
them.
people are the people that destroy the country. And if they are the one that destroy the country, they cannot offer solution. We should look for a new people that can offer solution. You cannot destroy a country for 20, 30, 40 years. And you are not coming to say you want to come and offer solution. What do you have
But then
left
let's
in your
look at
brain?
it this way. For a couple of young persons who have occupied key strategic government offices like governors and what have you so far, some would say that they have not necessarily delivered or lived up to expectation. Particularly with the excitement and euphoria that came with such persons occupying government offices or becoming governors, executive governors, that expectation perhaps was not met as much as people would have thought. Isn't that also an indication that perhaps younger people need some more time to gain some more experience, gather some more experience before vying for some of these major political offices?
I'm not aware of those who are not performing, because I know excellently some are in House of Rep. I have colleagues who are in House of Rep, and they are doing very well. They are even beating the record of 20, 30 years in their various constituencies. If you are talking about percentage of younger generation that is not performing well, are you comparing it with this whole generation that has messed up the system? Who are EFCC dragging today? Are they less than 40 years? These are the people that have stolen the money of this country. These are the people that have destroyed the system. What are you now talking about? So where are the younger generation? Where are 35 years old who has run one office or the other, who have become councillor or chairman of House of Rep that is in EFCC custody? You will hear a 60 years old stole billions of naira, EFCC is dragging them today. So they shouldn't bring that narrative. What we are talking about, we are not saying that they should leave the stage, but we are clamoring for a quota, a particular quota. Let's start from there. Nobody say all of them should leave. But why is it difficult for every major political party to have affirmative actions of 30% for the youth? Our women not agitated for it, and they got it. So what is not difficult? If you can make a form to be free for women, female, what makes it difficult for the youth? Who even needed this form more than the women that you are offering it to? Are you saying the percentage of numbers of votes the youth can offer, the women can offer more than that? Because even if you look at the demographic of this country, youth cover 70% of the population. Now, what is the population of the women? Even out of these women and female, we are talking about youth among us. So we, the youth, are even the targets. We understand what they are doing. They are trying, they are afraid of our potentials. They understand that we are highly prolific and we have knowledge. Majority of them today, you will see them appointing younger generation as SA Media, SA ICT. Why can't they give us minister? Who tells us we cannot function as DG of agencies? Most of the people they have appointed as a DG of agency go to NIBDA. The person who was there is a young person. Come and see the excellent work he's doing there. We have had older generations in that agency. Nothing is functioning. Go to Rural Electrification Agency today. He's around 40 years old. So these are excellent places that younger generation man the leadership, and they are doing excellently well. Go to Nelson Bank. So you can mention a lot and a lot. Even most of this older generation, let me now shock you. None of them does not have technical advisor. Who are the technical advisor? The youth you are calling incompetent. They are your SA Media, they are your technical advisor, they are your SA ICT, they are your SA entrepreneurs. Who is not doing the job? If you can appoint me as SA, and I'm performing excellently to complement your work, if I am the leader of that organization, who told you I will not perform? So these are scenarios that the older generation are trying to present to us, and they want us to accept the bullshit that we are not competent.
Okay, we'll have to be mindful of the language there. But then let's look at some other areas now. One would have expected, we just heard news a short while ago that ASUU has extended its strike. Now, before now, students of University of Benin had embarked on a protest around the school environment, in front of the school, protesting and asking the federal government and ASUU to call off the strike. Now, what have Nigerian youths done strategically to ensure that they draw the attention of ASUU and the federal government? Because like they say, when two elephants fight, the grass beneath their feet suffer. In this case, the Nigerian students are suffering. They're staying at home. There is no indication to when they'll return back to the classroom. So if the Nigerian youth cannot galvanize and make their voices heard over this issue, then how exactly can we actually go forward to set an agenda?
I think, thank you very much for raising this issue. We have met with the leadership of National Association of Nigerian Students. We are still in consultation. We are hoping that the strike will be called off today. That is the hope that we are given. But unfortunately, I'm just, like you are telling me now, I'm just checking my phone to realize that 3 more months have been added. Possibly there will not be elections, primaries, and all the rest. I'm not making it as a threat, because we are definitely going to have a strategic meeting with the leadership of the students. We are joining the strike. We are joining the protest. And we are making sure that we shut down the country. If the country is not existing, if ASU is on strike, and students are no more liable to have basic education, which is part of their fundamental right, I don't think anything is supposed to be working in this country. So we are going to meet. We are going to support the student leadership. We are going to make sure that nothing works. If ASU is on strike, let the government also be on strike.
On what basis would you say nothing should work? Because that is quite a sensitive thing to say.
Yes, because the future of the younger generation is what they are using to play drafts. The honest truth is that most of them have their kids abroad. ASU be on strike. I don't want to know who to shift the blame on, either the government or the ASU. But the fact remains that why is it always that students are the ones that bear the negative consequence? So if these people cannot resolve, I think we should help them to resolve. And the only way we can help them to resolve is to shut down the system. By the time we protest and we shut down all the major roads, we make sure that federal secretariats are barricaded.
But with this, this is not the first time we're hearing this. We've heard this sort of lines over and over, and at the end of the day, nothing seems to happen. Just like what some persons will say about the Nigeria Labour Congress, that they seem to back a lot and nothing happens. That there's a tendency that even when young people or youths generally call for such actions, nothing will happen.
You are right.
What makes it different this time around?
Because then there is nothing at stake. Now there is something at stake. Most of all these leaders now, they are battling political calculation. They are trying to work primary election, planning elections, and all the rest. They have something at stake. If they cannot reopen the university, I think they should also not go ahead with their own thing, because that thing that even they are even clamoring for, will it solve the problem that we have today? They also have kids. They should understand that if ASU is on strike, criminality will increase. Most of these students that are outside today, some of them are the ones now doing 419, trying to survive, because there is nothing they are doing. And idle hands is a devil's workshop. So they have already created an insecurity. They are talking about insecurity in the north, in the southwest, in the southeast, and everywhere. They didn't even know that they are adding to the insecurity that is already existing. Because by the time students have nothing to do, they want to do something. So instead of them to turn it to an insecurity, to crime and criminality, kidnapping and none the rest, let us mobilize ourselves and let these people know that it is important, it is high time we all go to school. Like I told you, students matter is directly under the purview of National Association of Nigeria Students. But we are going to give them support because we also pass through the same tutelage. We are part of it at one time. So if we leave today, we also need to look back. Most of all these people are our colleagues, they are our friends, they are our associates. So we cannot leave them into the matter. Possibly their power is not enough to handle it. That is why you say that they want to start, it ends, it stops. But I am telling you that the entire youth structures in this country, we are meeting to give them the unexpected solidarity that has never happened in this country. So that by the time you think it is student union body that is doing it, it is not. The youth and the entire civil society will join them. So that by the time we become too formidable, maybe the government will take us serious.
Let's look at this. We have, at first we're looking at 54, but now I understand we have about 57 state universities of all of the universities we have in the country, besides the private universities. And that in itself means that state governors have a huge responsibility to play in ensuring that these universities are run effectively. So why do we always look at the federal, at the center, when it comes to issues of ASU, strike, and all of that, without necessarily looking at state governors as well? Why that disparity?
Government are one. It is just the layers of federal, state, and local governments. The fact remains that the way Nigerian education is structured, everything is structured around the central. So that is why many people are calling for constitutional review. They are calling for restructuring of the country because there are so many things that is very wrong. Even the bogus number of state universities we have is not obtainable anywhere in the world. The fact remains that even in my state now, for instance, Ondo State, they have 2 state universities. The governor is still battling to pay civil servants. And how can you now call the governor to come and fund a state university? 2, for that matter. They will be having 2 vice chancellors. They will be having 2 deputy vice chancellors, 2 rectors, 2 officers, and these people are drawing expenses from different angles. What makes them to have 2? Why can't they have 1? You can open different centers into different places if you really want to. But for the fact that I told you earlier that these leaders are the ones that has messed up with this country, they normally come into a political system with the ideology to always favor where they are from or where their family lives or reside. We are not supposed to have to this number from the onset. But getting to this number is to tell you that the governor will come today, he wants to have a university in his hometown. The next one will come, he wants to have a university of science in his town. So these are the problems we are facing. The cost of governance in this country is too much. You cannot be running such cost of governance and you expect money for infrastructure. All these officers will be drawing money from the treasury. So take, for instance, also at the federal level. It's the same thing that is applicable. Too many unnecessary costs are going into frivolity. Why the major work supposed to go to infrastructure? Maybe the government should look in another direction. Me, I'm of the opinion, possibly, if it's possible, they know they cannot run effectively a university. Let us see how we can be able to streamline the existing one.
Okay, that would be a topic for another day, but in your last remarks before we wrap it up, which is like the major crux of our conversation this evening, what should be the agenda the Nigerian youth should set for those who are coming into office? Because yes, we have grown tremendously from 1999, where at each point in time, the dynamics at play at every level has constantly changed. You know, those the level of knowledge and exposure for certain persons have changed even just 3 years back from now, away, you know, from 2019 till about now. Bearing that in mind, what should be the agenda the Nigerian youth should set for those who are vying for election and wooing people to vote for them in the forthcoming elections in 2023?
Yes, we are on a strategic intervention. We are meeting already now. But to me, personally, this is part of my submission in our last stakeholders meeting. Anybody above 60 years should go and rest. Because it's like they don't want the younger generation to climb the ladder. They should also be ready to leave the stage. Because by the time we finish with our strategic work plan, we are going to officially communicate to the media, to the entire world. Now, if you are above 50 years, 60 years, you should go and rest. Let us have people who are still agile, who are still active, who can do excellently well for us. And secondly, we are looking at bargaining. Yes, if we cannot become a president with the scenario on ground, you know, it's going to be highly difficult for you to have a younger generation to become a president. But we definitely have a bargain with you. If you want our votes, you should give us 30% affirmative actions. In your ministerial portfolio, the youth must have 30%. Anybody who is ready for that, we bargain with you and we sign the bond. And we massively go with you. Not only in ministerial, all across board. So if you are a president, take for instance, 30% of your cabinet must be youth. DGs of agencies, you must give Nigerian youth 30%.
Okay.
MDs, you must give Nigerian youth 30%. And like that.
Okay.
If you are a governor, the same template. So if you want our vote, you should give us something that will commensurate with the support we are offering you.
All right, thank you so much. I wish we could go on, but we are fast spent our time here on the program. Thank you so much, Blessing Akinlo Sotu, for being on the program today. He's the president, Nigerian Youth Congress, and we have been looking at the topic 2023 Nigerian youth in the scheme of things. That's 2023 elections, the Nigerian youth in the scheme of things. I'd like to thank you as well for being a part of the program today. I hope you enjoyed every bit of the conversation. And as a Nigerian youth, or Nigerian basically, we're thinking critically about some of the issues that have been raised here, even as we gradually crawl, or is it walk towards 2023 general elections. Well, I'll be back here next week, same time, same station, for another edition of the program, The Nigerian Governor's Life. My name remains Aondina Ingia on Silverbird Television. Thank you for being a part of the program today. Good evening.